Problem is, though, that this is across the board. Stocks got pretty badly hit this morning first, and I think this is a lot of risk off to do with the US government shutdown, Trump comments, and I think Europe got up this morning and just didn't like the noise that's going around this morning. So, if we are going to make a base here, then we do need to hold these daily moving average supports in Bitcoin on a pullback and a retest of them. So here we are at the low. This is a third touch of a trend line and the daily 50 moving average. So although it looks like we've fallen really hard out of this little tight consolidation, this is major support. So if we break it, we really have broken down in a bear flag. And, I think the most benign thing we would look for would be support at an equal measured move around 34.40. This is Bitstamp prices. So what we would see is an ABC. And if we, that's the most benign. And then we would see from there potentially another leg higher. The less benign is that we're in a long-term downtrend. We've been in this downtrend for some time, and that this potentially could be the start of a new leg lower. So this daily 50 moving average, while we're in this position and we've got really nothing else underneath us to support us, becomes quite important. So this is where we are sitting right now. Almost always, third touches of trend lines are a false break. Now, if we widen it out, we haven't quite done that, but I'm going to draw it like this, where we catch the most lows and where we can probably draw this. I like to draw them as parallel channels as well. I find that very helpful. Therefore, let's just say that this is important support, daily 50 moving average. And although it looks like we're breaking down, expect a false breakdown and then see if we can rally from here. Now, if we get back above these hourly moving averages, but more importantly, if we can get back above the daily 20 moving average, then I think that this will look a little bit better. But I would say at least 50% of this drop is what we need to see to turn this around, okay? But the 20 moving average will put it at for now. And if we look at where that is, the 20 moving average is at 38.55. So 38.55 from here is kind of what we need to get above if we're going to turn it around and rally from here. So yeah, well, let's look at some other prices. So let's do Tether at Binance, which is how I tend to trade it, to be honest. And if we zoom out, you can see that we've broken down from what our trend line is. Remember though, third touches of trend lines, very often false breakdowns, and it does look that we're underneath this 50 moving average at Binance. I'm going to say let's take a look at Bitfinex, because I find that Binance Tether prices can be quite extreme, and so whilst I trade against Tether at Binance quite often, I look at Bitfinex prices as a kind of guide of support and resistance. And so I know that sounds bad, but so here, potentially at Bitfinex, we have broken down, but we are sitting right on this 50 moving average. The price of the 50 moving average is 38.87. We're right kind of here, aren't we? So we're right on the daily 50 moving average. And we need to see if we can bounce here. If we recover the 20 moving average, which would be in Bitcoin, dollar at Bitfinex would be back above this trend line, then fair enough. But otherwise, it is starting to look like on the daily that we're breaking down. Now, you never break down in a straight line. Whenever you get a big candle like this, you usually see a pull back into it before we roll over again. So we're going to put our Heikin-Ashi on. We're going to look at our 15-minute like this for a bounce. Okay, it might be that we just bounce a little way back towards this 20 moving average and then we roll over again. But if you're stuck and you're looking to get out, that's what you'd be looking for. Some green, a bit of a bounce here, and if it rolls over, sell it. If it doesn't, move your stop up. if we do a bit of a knockback here and then carry on, keep moving your stop up, and we'll see if we can recover this or not. But I think that we should be prepared in Bitcoin from the daily. If we look at it, we've never recovered these previous highs. So in terms of daily trend, we've never got back into an uptrend scenario where we're making higher highs. We've never got back above the 786 fib that we were back testing. And so from here, really, the risk is that we continue lower to this 886 and this, I hate to say it, but 3,000 and potentially 2,400 in Bitcoin if everything goes pear-shaped. Now, a lot, I think, is going to depend on what stocks do today, believe it or not. You know, potentially we're just going to pull back a little bit to support and then carry on. And if we look at corrections, you know, most corrections are 3 waves, A, B, C. Well, if we look at Bitcoin this way, what if this is our first leg here off the lows, A, and now we're going to do an A, B, C for a B leg, and then we're going to do a C leg. You know, it's not disaster, and I could see that happening. And so again, that you measure if that's likely. In Bitfinex prices, 3,500, 34.40 was the price at Bitstamp, 35.20 is the price at Bitfinex. Bitcoin Tether, if we do an equal measured move here before another leg higher, 3,406, and we would do something like that. So then we would be looking at a pattern like this. And then we would do a final leg higher, 5 waves before we carry on lower again. And then we've got our A, B, C bigger correction going on. So I can see that's kind of the most benign interpretation, I think, at the moment. Has anybody got any questions about that? So Ethereum, which I had such high hopes from, has broken down really nastily. But again, if we look for 50% back and the daily 50 moving average, if you were looking to buy, when we were looking at this before, this was where we said, okay, that's where we want to buy it. We've got a double top potentially in ETH, but it's only a double top if it breaks the low in the middle, which is here. So potentially this is a consolidation range. Now we've got our double top in ETH and we're headed back to the bottom of the consolidation range. So support somewhere between 120 down to 112 in ETH is what we're looking for. So we have got further to go in this one. So if you've been long of ETH and you don't like this at all, any rally back towards this 20 moving average or 141, the 20 moving average is 137, between 137 and 141, any rally back towards there, that's your exit. Here we are, we've just slowing down in this sell-off. What we need to see is a slow down a little bit more and then a rally back, and then get out and wait, because there isn't any guarantee that we'll find support at the bottom of the range. I'm pretty sure we will, but I wouldn't hodl it. I would get out and wait for the buy entry. Okay? Thanks for watching and subscribing. If you didn't already know, I do a live stream on Monday nights on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Nick Trades. I usually look at 30 to 40 coins and I do it every week. If you'd like to join me then and you've got a request or a coin you'd like to look at, then leave a request in the comments below. We'll try and take a look at it tonight.